Is your circle too big? And if it is, are all the friends in your friend circle genuine, kind, loving, and care about you? Or are these friends purposely in your circle because you have reasons for them being there? And what I mean by that is, do you have those friends that you just go party with them and that's all y'all will ever do for the rest of y'all life is just party? And you have the friends that are there to cry with and talk about depression with, and that's gonna hold you down. Then you have the ones that you'll occasionally meet, the acquaintances. What is your social circle looking like? Because for me personally, when I was growing up, I was a social butterfly. I was hanging out with everybody and their auntie on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I didn't really evaluate why they were there. I just liked that they were there. I liked the point that I was so sociable, that people liked hanging out with me. But as I also developed within myself, I noticed that those people would take advantage of me, would be around just to be around. Like, some of these people had no substance. And I want to make this clear. I don't want to ever look at a human being and say you bring no substance into my life. But baby, they brought no substance to my life. So as I kept growing, I noticed that the people around me was not there for me when I needed them to be there for me. I was the therapy friend. I was the mama bear. I'm the protector. I'm like the designated driver. I'm the one that everybody calls for when they need something. But who am I going to call for when I need something? It was given to the point where I'm your mentor, I'm your daddy, I'm your mama, I'm your teacher, your counselor, I'm everything under the sun. But I don't have that same respect. And I was putting in 100, 200, 500% energy into these people that when it came to a point in time where I needed energy, where I needed some type of love, some type of respect, some type of listening, some type of venting system too, crickets. And so it got to a point where every year I would evaluate my circle, the people around me, and I would just keep cutting down, just blocking, unfollowing, taking phone numbers out my contacts list, figuring out how to get to a point where I have people around me that are going to bring substance into my life. I'm going to bring substance into their life. Have people around me that make sense. You have to realize, as a human being, you are constantly growing. You are constantly evolving. You have multiple chapters that you will go through in your entire life. And there are some chapters that are bigger than others. And there are some chapters where you are going to need a strong core group. And being a person that is such a social butterfly, a person that is so popular and loved and liked by everyone, sometimes that is not good. Yes, it's amazing that you are able to communicate. It's amazing you are able to bring energies into the room that attract to you, but that is exhausting. It is mentally draining. It gives you depression and anxiety, because imagine you're in a room full of everybody you know. You're in a room with 50 people. They all know you. They all fuck with you on some type of level, but they don't know the struggles you're going through. They don't know you sad. They don't know you try to kill yourself. They don't know you an alcoholic. They don't know you depressed. They don't know anything, because all you have ever done for that entire relationship was build enough connection for it to be surface level stuff. And what you realize, you are collecting surface level friends, nobody that knows you to the core, that knows when something's wrong, that knows to even call and check and be like, hey, what's a life update? That's when I had to leave my big circle group. That's when I was like, I got to go, because my life was changing. My life was getting pivotal, and I was going into different chapters. I was getting older, and I was like, if I'm going to be able to make it mentally, I'm going to need people that are around me and that are strong, that are going to give the same energy that I'm giving. And that I know that if I was to have a setback, to have a mental breakdown, to have anything bad happen to me, these people are around. I think the problem is that when it comes to those friends out there, whether if you're this friend or not, the protectors, the mom, the guardians, the person that people lean to, we get so complacent in being the person that everyone needs that we don't ever have time to check our mental health. We don't ever have anybody checking us for our mental health. And I told this to somebody. I was like, listen, imagine there's 100 people in the room and you go to each and every single one of them and you ask them, hey, you okay? You doing good? How can I help you? Then you get to the 100th person and you now have to reflect on yourself. And you're like, now I have to do to myself what I did to everybody else in the room. How is that fair? I think the reasoning behind it is that we as humans, when we are that type of friend, we try to be as selflessness as possible. How can I help you? How can I serve you? How can I make you feel better? How can I make you smile? How can I make your life easier? Because we know what that trauma is like when we're going through something, where we're depressed, where we want to cry, where we need help and no one's there. So it's like, okay, because I didn't have anybody, because I didn't have an outlet, when it comes to those people that need an outlet, I'll be their outlet. But there has to get to a point in your life where it's like, I need to be selfish. Oh, you can come to me about X, Y, and Z, 1, 2, 3, but I can't come to you about my problems. You're gone. You're done. Oh, you can come to me about money and da 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 da, but I can't come to you. You're done. And I promise you, if you start looking at the people that surround you on a daily basis and you start cutting them out, in a lot of those situations, I promise you, you'll probably be left there standing by yourself alone looking stupid. When you really evaluate the people and the so-called friends around you and how they treat you, how they make you feel, how they give you substance, how they love you, understand you, care about you, you would notice a lot of people are just in your life just to take up space, just to let you know that they exist. Now, there's nothing wrong. I want to make this clear. There's nothing wrong with having those friends that you just party with, like, you know, the category friends where you just party with some, or, you know, you go out to tea with others and you do yoga with others. There's nothing wrong with that. I want to make that clear. I think it's important that you know that these friends are strictly for that. But the problem is with me is that, for example, I never knew. Like, I didn't know that my category friends were not my deep, emotionally available mental health friends. So we'll be going to yoga, we'll be going to brunch, we'll be going to bowling, and I'm breaking down and I'm crying and I'm spilling my heart out, and they looking at me like I'm dumb in the face. Like, what are you doing? We're not on that level. And that's okay if you're not on that level, but you need to set that boundary. And a lot of us friends that are that mentor figure, parent figure to our friends, because we have so much energy in us at the end of the day, at the end of the month, at the end of the year, where we just collect it from person to person to person, and we just absorbed it. And so we get to those points where it's like, I'm just about to break down because I need somebody to talk to. And then you realize, like, oh, we're not even that close for you to even hear my pain, for you to even hear my trauma, for you to even see my vulnerability. I think for me personally, having big circle groups were important when I was younger. It was important when I was coming up in life and having the ability to be able to walk into a room and fit in, to adapt, to be able to resonate with people. That is an important skill. But as I got older, it got to a point where I'm walking into a room and I'm thinking about me first. And I'm thinking about my safety. I'm thinking about my mental health. I'm thinking about how I feel, what makes me happy, what gives me discomfort, and you can't do that in big circle friend groups. Big circle friend groups causes people to have selfishness. Small circle friend groups causes you to be aware, causes you to be selfish. Because by the time you get down to that small circle friend group, I'm pretty much sure that when you notice who is around you, it's the people that have been in your life for years. It's the people that have showed you every day, constantly on each basis, that if you need them to show up, they will show up. It's probably the people that you least expected that are your real friends, that are your real confidants. But a lot of people don't get to a point in their lives where they understand it's time for them to cut out middlemen. It's time to take care of yourself first. Trust me, I've been that friend for years where all I wanted to do was help. All I wanted to do was care for, listen, be compassionate, be an empath to these people. But there was more days and nights where I left situations mentally drained than I did feeling awakened within myself. There's only a few people in this world that make me feel awakened in myself. And those are the people, especially the economy we live in, especially how society is, how more dangerous it is, how much scarier it is. You need to surround yourself with people that are going to awaken you every single day, even if it's on a small scale, even if it's not every day, but you need to know, you need to have that mental security in your mind that I have these people if everything was to go left tomorrow. If everything was to fall tomorrow, I have one person that won't judge me, that will help me, that would be there for the rebuild, for the foundation. And it's not something, seeing your true friends and seeing who's real for you and who's not. It's not something that is going to change in a year or in a month or in a couple weeks. It takes a long time. It takes looking at yourself in the mirror and really acknowledging, wow, a lot of these situations, I come home alone. I come home sad, more sad than before I left, more confused, more lonely. For me personally, I had to make those drastic changes and finding those right friends. And sometimes for periods of time, only being by myself and having just God be in the room, waiting for those right people to treat me right, to give me the value I deserve, to give me the respect I deserve. That's also the one thing I want to say is that I feel like a lot of us friends that are in these positions, we feel like we don't deserve the same love that we give out. We don't deserve the same respect, the same value, the same compassion and, help, because we are that for people. But if you can give that, if you're capable of giving that to people, complete strangers, to family members, then you are capable of getting it. You are capable of love. You are capable of getting that warm and safe feeling. Don't think because you are the rock for people that people can't be a rock for you. Don't think because you are the stability for some that you can't have any foundation of your own. That's the weird way that the mind works. It will sit there and tell you and make you feel that you are not allowed to receive the same love that you put out into this world, that you will be surrounded by people that will not value your time. And you have to be complacent with that. No. I tell people all the time, I'd rather be in a room alone 20 times over and know that I have my own back than be in a room with 50 people. And I don't know what the hell they there for. I don't know their names. I don't know their purpose. I don't know what they believe in. I don't know what's important to them, who they are, how they eat, how they sleep. Where did you go to school at? What's your social security number? If I got to do that in a room full of people that I'm allegedly supposed to know, oh no, you would not be there in that room with me. You would not be there in that room with me. If I'm allegedly supposed to know you, and we looking at each other like two fish in a fish tank on a Sunday afternoon, and you Nemo and I'm Dory, oh hell no, you got to go. You got to go. So know your worth. Know that you are important. Your contribution, your advice, your love, your compassion, your impact, your empathy, it's important. You also deserve the same respect that you also give. And don't ever settle for anything less.